Today is the final part of our epic trilogy in which we talk about some of the greatest Superman comics of all time.
Okay, so the first book that we have today is Michael J. Straczynski's Superman Earth 1. This came out, how long ago now? Like a couple of years ago, I want to say. And it's kind of one of these Elseworld stories.
What is the Earth 1 thing? What is that? Is it like the Marvel Ultimate Universe?
It appears so, yes, kind of out of continuity, but its own.
It's like telling these origin stories, but in our day
with
and
a
age.
twist. Yeah. Like I know Batman Earth 1, instead of him being a rich billionaire, it's Alfred that trains him up to be what he is. You know, it's taking the essence of the character, but seeing what would happen if you changed it this way. And that's the same with Superman Earth 1. So, you know, we're introduced to Clark Kent at the age of 20. He's been brought up in the modern day and age, and he's scared of his powers, and he just kind of wants to fit in. He doesn't want to be Superman, or that's kind of how it appears from the front. Whereas Martha and Jonathan Kent have always told him to, you know, kind of embrace who he is and, you know, do good with these powers. So there's that kind of conflict in there. Dan, what did you think of Superman Earth 1?
It's an interesting one. I really like the way it looked. I like the character designs. I especially like the Clark Kent design. I don't know. I just like he looked really modern to me. Like
with the cardigan and
yeah, but also like the sort of long hair and a bit emo indie kid. I think that's really cool. I really like that look of Superman, and they are in general was just really pretty. It was really nice, and it was really well realized. Obviously, this is an original graphic novel. This didn't come out in issue form, like this the whole thing. So obviously a lot of time has gone into the rendering of the images and the coloring and it looks that way. Like that really comes across. It looks very detailed and well done. The story for me, probably just but we've talked about great Superman stories, and probably in the stack of all those, like it hasn't hit as hard. It's just sort of okay, all right. Okay, fine. It was really easy to read. It wasn't offensive to me. I didn't like the way he was like super smart as well. Like they added stuff to his character. I think like he's super smart, but he's kind of like cool, and I don't know. They just added stuff that I didn't feel enhanced the character, and I did often feel like this doesn't feel like Clark Kent, which it's an F1 story, so I get that. Like there's a twist on the character, so I did sort of feel that jarringness. The villain that turns up at the end, right. You know, I mean, he's not really that interesting at all. So, but some of the interactions with the characters, some of the stuff at the Daily Planet, some of the action scenes were enjoyable. So for me, this is a really good looking book with some really nice designs, with just a story that's fine and that you'll flick through in an afternoon and you won't think much more of it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I found this Clark Kent not to my liking. You know, there's something about the kind of let's make him angsty, let's make him kind of I don't want to be responsible. I'm just like I don't want that. Like what I like about Superman is he is instilled with this kind of you are something special. You are going to do great things, and he doesn't blow that off. He doesn't just go. He embraces that, and that's what makes him different, you know. Instead of trying to make him a Peter Parker-like character who has to learn that with great power comes great responsibility, that's already inside him. And my biggest problem with this book is I'm flicking through it, and I'm going, this looks alarmingly a lot like the trailer for Man of Steel, and I think you're going to see a lot of that Earth 1 inside Man of Steel, even the villain. And his whole, you know, we've come to find Kal-El, surrender him or else you planet all face certain doom. Like, you could have just taken that villain out, put Zod in it, and it'd be what I think Man of Steel might be. So I'm a little bit worried about that, because I really wasn't a fan of this kind of angsty teen version of Superman. I like my Superman to be clean-cut, the American Boy Scout, which is something I know a lot of people have a problem with, but I think from doing all this reading, I've discovered that is actually what I want. That is who I want to be my Superman. And that's what makes him special. And I feel as though when you take that away, you take away what makes Superman special. Having said that, I agree. I think the artwork is absolutely stunning in this book, minus the villain character design.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't even a case of, it was a case of, oh,
he looked like a Dragon Ball Z villain.
He did, and it didn't make sense to me. It was like, why? It just seemed like generic villain school, white face with the black marks and the angel wings. I'm like, no, I don't want any of this.
Yeah, I agree.
I really wasn't fussed on the villain, but I agree. Some of the character interaction was good. It was written well for what they were going for, but yeah, not my cup of tea. I'd say leave it.
All right, the next book we are talking about is Superman Birthright, which is essentially a 12-issue long Superman origin story written by Mark Waid, drawn by Lionel Yu.
Yep.
Not much more to say. What did you think?
Well, I'm a huge fan of both of these creators, both separately and together. I really like Lenny Yu's work on Secret Invasion and Superior and books like that, and Mark Waid obviously on Daredevil, Kingdom Come, and then both their works on Indestructible Hulk. I thought they were great. This book, I think, is really good. I'm kind of getting sick of reading a lot of origin stories. It's like, all right, I know the Superman origin story, don't need it 101 times, just the once will do. Having said that, I did enjoy a lot of this book. I enjoyed the kind of stuff with Lex Luthor and, the going back to their childhood and seeing them grow up. I thought was quite interesting because that takes probably the largest chunk of the book. It's 2 or 3 issues of just their kind of relationship. And yeah, no, I did really enjoy this book. I was kind of okay on it. That very last panel, mother, father, I made it, was just beautiful. Like that was such a great ending that it made everything else just that little bit better for me. I cannot fault the artwork. Like Lenny Yu's work is just so good. So good. Everything he draws, I just want to see all the time. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this book. I did really enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much feel exactly the same way. Like, I think by the time I got to this, I'm just like, no, I can't. I
Can't do another origin.
I can't. Like, and just the early Superman stuff, in fact, like, not only had I read it, like, if I'd have read this first, maybe I would have felt differently, but, like, I also felt like I've read it better than this. Like, it was fine. But the other takes that we've seen on this origin, I think, have been so much more interesting and so much more enjoyable and different that it was just like, you've come at the wrong time. You're right. Lenny Yu's artwork is amazing. Like it's so just crisp and beautiful, and some of the contrasts he creates, like it's just fantastic. And the one saving grace for me, and I'm not getting down it, but just like for my enjoyment personally, was the Smallville Lex Clark stuff. I loved that. I liked that element of Smallville when I was watching it, them kind of being friends and their relationship and how that evolves, and that was really nice. And that's something that we haven't seen in the reading that we've done. So I really enjoyed that, but this early Superman origin finding his way thing, I just read so many times, and I've definitely seen it been done better and more interesting, but the art was good. Yeah. So it's a weird mixed one, but it's also 12 issues, so it was just like,
it is a slog.
It felt like a bit of a slog, which is a shame.
Having said that, one of my also favorite bits of it, and it's these small character additions that I really like, is Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
My name's Jim, and everyone's like, shut up, Jimmy. I love that, like the way he's like, Jim's an adult name, Jimmy's a child's name. He's like, who calls you Jim, really? He's like, Clark does. I really like that. And it's just one of those small things, but it makes the character human. Yeah. Makes them three-dimensional, so yeah, no, I really like that. Okay, so the last book we have to talk about is Superman Last Son, written by Jeff Johns, who, Green Lantern, he's running the whole show at DC now, and drawn by Adam Kubert? Am I right there?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's written by Adam Kubert. Drawn. This story is essentially... It's almost the plot to Superman 2. General Zod is put in the Phantom Zone. He escapes the Phantom Zone and comes and wreaks havoc on planet Earth in search of the son of Jor-El. Dan, what did you think of Last Son? Because you weren't too hot on War of the Supermen.
Well, to put it mildly.
And this is the kind of precursor to War of the Supermen.
Yeah. Loved it.
Yeah?
I loved this story. I loved the artwork. Like, the artwork was stunning. It looks so good. And you missed out one key element, which I think puts a bow on this whole thing and makes it something that I loved and didn't just like, which was the little boy.
Oh, yes.
So, like,
Chris Kent.
or Law Zod. Him and how that Clark is the patriarchal figure, especially in the context of scenes that he's having with his projection of his dad, it is so nice. It's so touching, some of those moments. It's very, very funny in places. There's a great little exchange between the little boy, Clark, and Lois, where the little boy's like, oh, they mention Batman, and the little boy's like, who's Batman? And she's like, someone you're not meeting until you're 16. And then they mention Wonder Woman, and he's like, who's Wonder Woman? Someone you're not meeting until you're 18. Yeah. It's fantastic. Like, yeah. It's so good. And yeah, it does sort of dissolve into this boom biff pow action set piece at the end. But
did it not earn it?
It did earn it. It did earn it. It's absolutely fine. And it looks amazing. Yeah. So it's even more fine. Tugged on my heartstrings. Mon-El, fascinating character. I love the whole Phantom Zone stuff. I love the stuff with time and the way that works in the Phantom Zone. I love the character designs. Gorgeous, lovely, loved it.
Yeah. For me, any time that you call a character in the Superman universe Christopher is just beautiful for me, because it is nothing but a nod to Christopher Reeves, and I love that. It's actually my favorite part of Kingdom Come is the little thing at the front that's to Christopher Reeves. He made us believe we could all fly. Like, I love that stuff. This book was fantastic. It's so much better than More of the Superman.
Oh my god!
It does everything better. It hits all the emotional notes better, and Zod is full on badass in this, although we don't get a kneel before Zod moment, which I always miss.
You sort of do. He wants them all to be on their knees and whatnot.
And I'm like, how else would you phrase that?
Yeah. The other thing I really loved about this book is the way it's told. There's a lot of double page spreads of like just square panels of dialogue, which I loved, and the writing was strong enough to withhold that. There's one specifically with Lex where they're having this conversation. And it must be like 18, 20 panels or something. And it's just great. And all the different reactions. And there's one where like Lex is screaming at him and Superman's pulling his face like, all right. And it's just really, really well told. It looks so interesting on the page. The Phantom Zone stuff, all the panels are weird and they change and the borders change.
The Phantom Zone looks beautiful and stuff in there. And great interaction with Lex Luthor as well. I thought that was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
And Zod is much more three-dimensional in this. You get his motivations a lot more. Yeah.
Maybe not so much Mon. Poor Mon.
Oh.
I think this book is absolutely fantastic. And if you are looking for the kind of next step after the origin story, this is the one to read for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great because this is Superman. Like, we don't get any of that. Which was so refreshing for me. Do you know what I mean? It was just like... And I love how they handled it. And we talked about All-Star Superman originally, where there was just like... Dying planet, baby's on a ship, sends off to Earth, done. That's the origin. I'd be happy if all Superman origins like that. But yeah, you don't get any of that stuff in this. It's just adult Superman. It's great. Yeah. It's really great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's our Man of Steel rundown.
Yeah,
and we hope it's
everything.
That's pretty much... I mean, there are a few big ones we've still missed.
Well, yeah, we didn't read everything, but that's all we're reading. That's
we're done now. Sorry. Yeah. So we hope you guys have found it useful. Please comment down below if you've read any of them and what you thought of them. And then join us next Wednesday when we're finally going to be talking about The Man of Steel. We're going to go and see it. We're going to review it here on the show next Wednesday.
Yes, but before then, there is a Friday that happens in 2 days' time.
Yep.
And on that Friday, we're going to be talking about what we've been reading.
Yes, we are.
That was a masterclass in stalling.
Quite frankly, we will see you. And I'm like, yeah, how else would you phrase that?